Good afternoon. We're back with some more Lord of the Rings LCG. Playing solo as always, and today's quest is Journey to Rhosgobel in Nightmare mode. Be playing a Messenger of the King deck for this one, which is built around Ally Glorfindel, the Spirit version. So I'm also playing the One Ring in this deck, and it is not desirable to have either Ally Glorfindel, the One Ring, or Inner Strength in the opening hand. I wish those cards were supposed to be pulled out of the deck before you draw your hand. I think it would make the quest much more playable and fun, but that is not the case. I do mulligan for a hand that doesn't have any of those things, so we can grab Ally Glorfindel, and he becomes a hero as per the text of the contract Messenger of the King. The One Ring will go on Elrond, my primary defender, and Inner Strength is designed to go on Elrond as well, though it does start in the opening hand, not on Elrond. I don't know why I have it on Elrond here. Apparently it was late and I just forgot. Let's see if I remember at some point. So Light of Valinor is going to go on Glorfindel. You could make a case for it on Elrond too. I'm going to quest with Glorfindel and Éowyn in A Journey to Rhosgobel. I'll talk briefly about the strategy for this quest. You got to heal up Rhudaur to full health, and he's going to take 2 damage every round, at least 2 damage. You can't heal him while Rhosgobel is in the staging area, which you see on the left there in the staging area. But Rhosgobel is not immune to player card effects, and so Asfaloth can clear it out of the staging area, and then for as long as you're on stage 1, you can heal Rhudaur normally. If you move on to stage 2, anytime you heal Rhudaur with a card, you have to remove that card from the game. So you can't heal him anymore with repetitive effects like Ioreth more than once if you move on to phase 2. If you get rid of Rhosgobel and stay in phase 1, then you can. And so it's a way to kind of gimmick the quest. With any deck that plays Glorfindel, Ioreth, and Asfaloth, if you get those 2 cards, you're eventually going to beat the quest. And this can be a very hard quest otherwise. So we got a 2 damage to Rhudaur there. Some progress on the quest. We still shouldn't have Inner Strength on Elrond. So he should take 2 damage here, not 1. Just had a brain lapse in which I put that on Elrond for free at the beginning of the game. Now I'm going to go ahead and use Éowyn's once per game to dispatch the enemy that starts the game on Nightmare mode. You can go ahead and get out Asfaloth here and start clearing out Rhosgobel, and I don't want to make any more progress on phase 1. I decide I'm going to wait on Asfaloth just in case there's another location that comes out that takes 2 progress to clear that I really want to get rid of. So I quest very lightly with just Glorfindel. I accidentally make 2 more progress, which is very undesirable. Basically means I'm not going to be able to quest anymore. Rhudaur takes 2 damage at the end of the round. I can clear out Rhosgobel and start healing Rhudaur now. Glorfindel should have 0 resources because I would have used 1 at one point to play Inner Strength on Elrond, and he should have 2 damage instead of 1. So I didn't quest with anyone. I'm just going to eat the threat. Or I just quested with Rhudaur actually for 1. And I take the attack undefended as I don't have an eagle or a ranged character available to defend. But I dispatch that eagle pretty easily. I can use Asfaloth now to clear out Rhosgobel, and now I can start healing Rhudaur with Ioreth for 3 each round. He's going to take 2 at the end of the round. That was an attachment that reduced the healing for 1 round. So I've just got to sit here basically until I heal Rhudaur up. And I'm also running Lore of Imladris in this version of the deck. in order to expedite the healing process. It's really not a very useful card generally, but for this quest it can be. Though the maximum amount you can heal Williador with one card is 5. So now it's just a matter of sitting at this stage of the quest, eating the threat that comes, so I don't make any more progress until I heal Williador. So I put the attack on Treebeard. Oh, now I decide on Elrond because I can cancel any shadow cards that come with inner strength if necessary. And now I can take out the enemy. So just a matter of keeping threat low, because I'm going to be eating some threat since I can't quest, or else I'll move on to phase 2. So I need to keep threat low and just heal him. The overall net healing right now is going to be 1 per round, so it's going to take a few rounds to fully heal him up. And I can just go ahead and Asfaloth that location away. So I don't take any threat there. Oh no, I took 4 threat there. 34 though is not too alarming. Gonna be just healing. If an Athelos comes from the encounter deck, I can heal quicker. If Lore of Imladris comes from my deck, I can heal quicker. So I take 4 threat there. I'm not sure why I took 4 threat there instead of 2. Maybe the text of the card said so. But just looking for Lore of Imladris or Athelos and treading water. And the only question concerning whether I'm going to beat the quest at this point is whether I will threat out before I heal Williador up all the way. I may have forgotten to add 2 damage at the end of last round. There's a Lore of Imladris. I'm debating whether or not to Vilya out that Lore of Imladris. I think Williador should be at 6 damage here. So I have a location buffer, so I don't necessarily have to take on threat right now. He should be at 3 now, not 1. And now it should be 5. But Lore of Imladris heals for 5, so I decide that at the end of the last round I'm going to Lore of Imladris, and then I move on and draw a card normally. Now, end of round effects. Williador takes damage by 2 at the end of the round, so Lore of Imladris actually needed to happen, or a Williador would have 2 damage here. And then I would need to heal him with Ioreth. I did that incorrectly because the Vilya for the Lore of Imladris would happen before the end of the round when Williador would take 2 damage. So he should still have 2 damage here. So the timing of such things does matter, and it can get a little confusing when you're changing your mind. But I don't think it's going to matter here. In this case, I would simply use Ioreth to heal Williador now before I advance. So Elrond should have 1 less resource, still should have 1 more damage, and Ioreth should be exhausted. Now I just need to make 12 progress. I can only heal Williador with Ioreth 1 more time, and then she's going to be removed from the game, which I may have retroactively realized what I needed to do and corrected it. I think I did. Which is why I didn't remove Ioreth this time. But now Rhudaur should have 2 damage on him. Can use Ioreth one more time, and then she will be removed from the game, but I do have 2 more copies of her, so even if it took 2 turns to clear this quest, phase 2, I don't think it would be an issue. So that was the 2 damage from the end of the round. Here I will use Ioreth, and then she will be removed from the game. Not sure what I'm thinking about here. I may be counting up, doing math, calculating the possibilities. I think that's the case because then I decide I probably need Elrond contributing as well. And with just the bats, I do make enough progress so that I would now heal 5 wounds for each Athelas, but I don't need that healing. And that's the end of the quest. So things got a little, well, I did a bunch of actions out of turn and had to correct things afterwards, and sorry about that. But in the end, everything was correct, except that Elrond should have 1 more damage than he does, which didn't end up mattering. Even if I had never played Inner Strength, Elrond never defended another attack, so no problem, but that could have mattered. I don't know why my brain spazzed out and I put Inner Strength out without paying for it early. But no problem, didn't end up impacting the game. Had 2 more copies of Ioreth if the game needed to go on for more turns. Was a little bit unlucky in that Athelas never came out of the deck, the encounter deck. There are 4 copies of it. With some decks, you absolutely have to have it happen, and if it doesn't, you just lose. And it has to happen relatively quickly. For that reason, this quest presents a unique deck building challenge. Not a lot of healing focused quests in the game. This one's a little frustrating in its design, but you can gimmick it very easily by removing Rhosgobel from the game by use of Asfaloth or by use of something like Mariner's Compass. Northern Tracker can do it as well. And if you get it off the board, then you can heal Rhudaur at your leisure as long as you don't advance the quest. I made a lot of progress on phase 1 accidentally and therefore had to eat a lot of threat because I wasn't questing for a while. But no problem. We're at 40 threat. Had another 5 to give. The threat threshold is lowered by 5 because of the 1 ring being out. No problem. It is a victory, and this is a relatively fast quest when you get a victory. Can take a while to find a deck that you like to beat it. Now, with access to the entire collection, you can of course build a deck entirely focused on this quest. I preferred to use existing decks and just make small modifications to them. And I was able to find one that was fairly effective. So, thanks for watching.